Let's begin here where we just finished on the whiteboard with the Shelby defensive front, who was awesome, Eric. 6 sacks in this game, and then Caden Berry, he's been getting talked about all week long and getting notable love, as he should, for breaking the school record last week. But he had 0 yards rushing until the end of the fourth quarter where he ripped off a long run. The defensive front for Shelby, lights out.
Right, and when you're talking about defensive fronts, there's really 2 or 3 things that make a good defensive front. Number one, having the big guys inside, being able to clog up that middle. Then you want explosive, fast, strong ends, and Shelby has 4 of those. When a good defensive front is going to occupy area and take bodies up, because linebackers should be the leading tacklers every single week, and Shelby's linebackers are the leading tacklers every single week. So that's what allows them to be a very good defense. Great defenses are a product of selfless play, because those interior guys aren't getting a lot of glory. But when you get in those long passing situations, those 3rd and longs, those 2nd and longs, you start figuring things out down distance, you get to peel those ears back and go after the quarterback. So Shelby had Lexington in obvious throwing situations, and when that happens, look out, especially when you have guys that can get off the edge and get home.
Lucas's Carson Hauger checks in on our list this week. 4 total touchdowns for this kid, and he didn't have very many opportunities. So just about every time this dude touched the ball, he ended up in the end zone. Just a special day. Anytime you can taste Tater 4 times, come on, man.
Yeah, Carson Hauger was, to me, he's reaping the benefits of the offensive theoretical changes in Lucas and opening up a little bit, but at the same time, it's just like Lexington. When you got a horse like they did at running back last year, you have to give him the football. But right now, he's a beneficiary of the theoretical changes on offense, and he's really doing a great job showing his athleticism, getting out and outrunning defenses, getting behind DBs, doing what's called taking the top off of the defense. You haven't seen that for a long time in Lucas, and right now teams are really starting to see it. He's really done a great job, and actually the first 2 weeks, he's done a great job of taking advantage of defensive mismatch.
Yeah, and he got the juices flowing early this past week for the Cubs. Touchdown on the opening kickoff return. You gotta love that. McGwire Albert, the senior quarterback for the Shelby Whippets, 262 yards through the sky, 5 total touchdowns, ran for over 10 yards a clip, 2 on 6 carries. Just overall, I thought McGwire managed the game well, and he hooked up with his boys for a lot of big plays.
Yeah, a couple different things there. Number one, I thought he was crisp. I thought he looked much better than week 1. So you could see that week 1 to week 2 improvement. People don't realize this, but when you spread the ball around, it keeps everybody interested. It keeps everybody engaged. And he did a great job. When you throw 5 touchdown passes and 4 of those go to different receivers, life's good. So you're keeping everybody engaged. And what it does is it allows people to, it causes people not to be able to load the box. So that creates numbers games. When you can be multiverse, being able to run the football with Owen Fisher and McGwire, and then you have the ability to hurt people through the air, that balance allows you to be really successful. And Coach Mahaney has brought a really nice offensive scheme, and those kids are executing at a high level.
Well, for now, the Whippets still unbeaten at 2-0. So are the Mansfield TY Tigers, and Michigan State commit Angelo Grose. 3 total touchdowns on his night. 3 catches, just 35 yards, but a couple of times he got into the end zone, and then the big-time 71-yard touchdown punt return. He just looks different when he's on the field. He's one of them special type of talents.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people look at his speed and say, well, he's fast, but the kid has tremendous vision. He has tremendous vision, and his football IQ has grown tremendously since he's been playing as a freshman. And now you watch him play, and he sees little seams in the defense. He's starting to see the game before it actually happens, and you can tell when you add that with his athleticism, there's no way to keep him out of the end zone if you're a defensive back. So he's really now taking advantage of it. He's become a leader on that football team, and he is a huge playmaker for the Tigers, and he's a Michigan State recruit, and by all rights, he should be.
Yeah, they don't just recruit anybody to play in the Big Ten.
Right.
Last but not least, our out of the area recipient this week, Buttermore. And when you got a name like that, boy, you better be able to bring it. 17 of 22 through the air, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns against Clear Fork, who had not lost since 2016 in the regular season, folks. Also bursted in for a rushing touchdown. So Granville going on the road, ending Clear Fork's 21-game win streak. I felt like he deserved some props.
Yeah, he single-handedly allowed them to be successful. Now, with the help of others, obviously you got to give credit to that O-line. You got to give credit to the people on the perimeter doing their things. I saw some pretty nice catches out there. But he's also a coach's son. So when you're a coach's son, you have a little bit, generally speaking, you have a little bit more higher understanding of what's going on. He obviously is a very skilled athlete. You can just see by the touch on the passes and the highlights. He's been very well coached. You can tell he's a competitor. Runs the ball very, very hard, because I know this, that Clear Fork defense is no joke. And for him to be able to go in there on that day, new turf, the excitement, like I said, 21-game winning streak, for them to get out of there with the W, that says quite a bit about what that team is and probably where they're going down in that Columbus area.
So those are your Friday night Phenoms, brought to you, good folks, by the good people over at Baker's Collision.